In this lesson, we'll look at how you can report and monitor user activity within Sage CRM. You can see that I'm logging on as the system administrator, and I'm going to go into the administration screens to start looking at an area within inside the users menu called user activity. So I've come into administration, users, and now down into user activity. Within this screen we can see all of the details about user activity, when they've logged on, and the mechanism by which the log off occurred. We can even see which browsers have been used. You can see, if we filter this, we can see who are currently logged on into the system, and we can also see information about whether the particular users are inactive and have never logged on into the system. We can filter down into whether they've logged on within the last month, or indeed who has never logged on into the system. This allows you to control exactly your licenses within Sage CRM. So if I go and have a look at the user activity reports, we can see that we can filter this for a particular user, identifying when they've been logging on into the system. And so if I was to narrow this down for a particular user, you can see that I can identify when they've attended and entered their details into the system. But if I clear the information here, so if I just say I want all users and filter, you can see that this would be rapidly creating a lot of information, considering that the activity information is being updated as and when anyone logs on and logs off into the system, and over a period of time a large amount of information could be obtained. This allows us to archive information off into the system to keep it at a reasonable amount. And in my particular case, because this is a new demo install, I've not got any archivable information to send out of the system, but that would allow us to send it out into a file, into a spreadsheet that we would be able to keep off for historic reasons. Now this is showing us a screen for user activity that is accessible within inside the administration screen. It's possible to share this information within the main menu and within the reporting area. Now, of course, the administrator reports by default are only accessible to system administrators, but you can actually change the settings here so that administrative reports are available to a wider group of people just by changing some of the settings, but that's something to cover on another lesson. But once we've come into the administrative reports, we can see that we can run reports which look at details of logon activity, and if we run this, we could export this out into a PDF or into a spreadsheet, and we could focus in on a particular user if we wanted to. As it is, I'm just going to run that, and we can see all of the details of logons and logoffs and their duration all the way through in this particular report. I'll close that down. Another thing that we can do, and which is a very useful thing to be able to share, is to look at logged on users and to be able to see who is currently logged on into the system. This is typically a very useful thing to be able to know, so that you can manage any actions that need to take place. So this tells us who's logged on into the system, and that's a useful item. And so we now can see that as a system administrator, I can report user activities either from the reporting area or within the administration screens found underneath users, found underneath the user activity area.